Hey guys, how's it going on? Welcome back. The insides of the February manufactured month 2022. This is my ASUS TUF 17.3 inch laptop I recently purchased, and this one was manufactured February of 2022. So they have made a change to the 22 models, which means you cannot put an SSD in here in this area. They've got all the stuff there that you could pretty much do it, except for a couple of things. No port for the cable and no included cable, obviously, because no port. The 2021 models did come with port. They also, some of them came with a 3050 card, NVIDIA, but theirs was a TI in a lot of the versions. Mine is not the TI, it's just a regular 3050 NVIDIA. And quite happy with it. I have no complaints. It's a great video card. Great system too. Our RAM slots, we've got one here and we've got a secondary one under here. Come occupied is two 8 gig sticks to give you 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's a great starting point at least, but if you want to play AAA games, you're going to need at least 32 gigs of RAM, okay? Now, from what I heard, the 2021 models were capped at 32 gigabytes of RAM, but one YouTuber did mention you could actually put 64 gigs in and it would recognize. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but according to the specs on mine, for my model version, I can actually go to 64 gigs fully supported. I don't think I'm going to go that high though, but I did order two 16s that will be in tomorrow apparently, as long as the percolator truck doesn't mess up. And I'll be able to pull these 8s out and put in a pair of 32s. Now these are, sorry, a pair of 16s. So these have a heat shield type sticker on either side of each RAM chip. Now that's one thing I won't have on the new RAM, but the RAM, I mean, as far as temperatures go, it's a gaming machine. It's going to run hot regardless. And I've run gaming systems before without any of this heat shield garbage. And to be honest with you, it really, I don't think makes that much difference. You know, in fact, I think it's better to not have the stuff on there, as I've experienced it already with an SSD drive. And it was actually this case that I had bought here, and it's already got a heat sink. And so does the drive that's sitting in here right now too, so it's metal to metal contact for heatsink to heatsink, so it's going to run ice cold. But I did try the silicone thermo thing they give you, and yeah, it actually overheated the drive. So yeah, I'm not too sure that the silicone stuff is really all that great after all. In some cases it might be beneficial, but not in the case of one of these external drives, and in a lot of cases definitely should not ever be anywhere near your components in your computer, as I did find out on the M2 version of the MacBook Air. It was not a good plan. Anyhow, so we do have the two RAM slots. We have our stock NVMe 500 gig SSD. Over here is my Western Digital 1 terabyte that I put in. So what I did was I cloned my 500 to the 1 terabyte and then just wiped out the 500 afterwards. Now I used a program called Macaroon Reflect, which does absolute perfect cloning, and it's free too. Especially if you're not going to use it for commercial or business use. You can have the free version for, you know, your own personal stuff, and it's 100% functional. Works great. But you still have the option to buy a version of it for whatever purpose. So we've got our battery here as well, 48 watt hour. We've got 10 million miles of, you know, good solid copper piping there for our heat sinks between our processor and our video. Speakers are over here, of course. Kind of wondering why they didn't flip them around the other way, because the sound is coming out the bottom, not out the top, which could explain why the sound kind of doesn't sound the greatest either, especially when it's, you know, flat down on the surface. Either way, this is the bottom side, or the actual lid for the computer, and it actually sits this way. And yeah, that's pretty much the bottom end. So it's kind of like, well, you know, well, whatever. It is what it is. It's a computer, right? So if you're wondering what was in the insides of the 2022 releases, this is what we've got. to work with, and I'm quite content with it, and I think you would be fine too. There's over 80 blades, by the way, on each fan, so they do generate a lot of cooling horsepower. And I have had them ramp up a few times playing some raunchy games, and I'm also running in performance mode. I'm not even running turbo yet at the 4.6 gigahertz range. I've got it programmed for performance, so I'm usually running about 3.4 to 3.7 type gigahertz in the 8 cores, and being this is 11th generation i7 processor too, it kicks butt really nice. So I'm very impressed. So anyways, I guess tomorrow will be my RAM upgrade, and that'll be a joyous time too, because that means my programs that want more than what I've got available will no longer be going after my SSD drive for virtual memory. And I think I'm going to probably stop it at there. As far as RAM goes, I don't need more than 32 gigs. You know, I mean, if I need more horsepower, that means I need a bigger laptop. Otherwise, yeah, I'm quite fine with it. Now, the one thing that was kind of, I wouldn't say it was a letdown, but a bit of a surprise was that I didn't have the SSD capability here. It's kind of like, well, you know, some of them come, some of them don't with that feature. And they do have 15-inch and 17-inch laptops. They've got these with Ryzen 5 processors, I believe it is, and other, I think they have also other Intel versions other than the i7. So you're going to get different specs on the machines, right? So mine's the 11th generation i7 8-core, and like I said, it's 2.3 gigahertz base clock, and it overclocks to 4.6. So yeah, and do check out my other videos on this laptop too. I've got the review on it. I've got the Armory Crate software tour to let you know how to program things, and among other things that it does. Anyways, I thought prep ahead for the truck for tomorrow, and at the same time do a little video for you guys of the insides of this thing. So thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got any questions, what have you, comments down below, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.